morning, welcome to Pink Salt Shed TV. I'm Kate Salter. It's Monday the 15th of March, all day today. I hope all you mummies out there had a lovely Mother's Day. I got some flowers and I got a frying pan. In fact, the frying pan it just happened to arrive yesterday, but we all thought it would be great to say that my Mother's Day gift was a frying pan. But it will cook my eggs beautifully. They will not stick on the bottom, which leads in quite nicely to fried eggs being part of the keto diet. We are talking today about the ketogenic diet, or as I like to call it, the ketogenic lifestyle. Now, before coming on the show, I did look up the word diet. Forgive me for looking at my phone, but there is a reason. That's because I don't want to print it on paper when really I could just read it from my screen. So, diet. Let's just debunk this diet thing. Because the ketogenic diet, I don't believe is in the same category as you would put the Atkins diet, low carb diet, Weight Watchers diet, Slimming World diet and all of that jazz. You've got the ketogenic diet. Of course, diet is a noun, so there's two definitions. One, the kinds of foods that a person, animal or community habitually eats. Yep. Two, a special course of food to which a person restricts themselves either to lose weight or for medical reasons. Yeah. Now, I probably put the medical reasons in the first definition of it, only because if you've got a medical problem and you need to address that, surely your diet has to change habitually. Anyhow, so when we talk about the ketogenic diet today, I'm going to be referring to it as the number one definition. This is the lifestyle that becomes habitual. So we don't talk about the keto diet in that, I'm going on it and I'm going to be on it for 8 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. This isn't for a quick fix to something. This is to change things so we can address what's going on in our bodies, on the inside, to basically nourish and nurture ourselves the best way that we can. And we have KetoKev with us to debunk all of the myths and to talk about all the science and the theory behind it, because Kev's done his research. He's been researching on this for years. He's written a book, he writes magazine articles, he has got a Facebook group that has thousands and thousands of members all chatting to each other about the time about it, and he's got a coaching group as well. He's really there to help us go through the education behind it all, to make sure that we're doing it the right way. So let's introduce Kev. Kev, here we are. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Monday, raining, perfect.
I know. On my Instagram this morning, my picture was just vibes, good vibes only, because the start of a new week, we need some good vibes for the start of a new week. And thank you for joining us. You are the man when it comes to all things keto. I've known you since I first started doing keto, and I wouldn't go anywhere else for advice, information, and your groups are just the best places to go to get those handy hints and tips. I mean, whether people have started the keto way yet, or whether you're just researching it, this is probably the best place that you'll get for all the information you need to know if it's for you or not. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't be for everyone, but you've got to do your research first. So Kev, tell us, how did you get into keto?
Oh, I think it was about coming on to 8 years ago when I decided to leave the army. I was in the army, and I was in the army for about 13 years. And I got to quite a big guy. I was about 129 kilos, which is about 21 stone.
Okay, yeah,
So
sizable.
I left the army and I was faced with, like, what am I going to do in my life? And I was overweight, didn't know what to do. And my wife pointed me in the direction of paleo. And
Yes, heard of that. Oh, Kev,
and
something's
all the
happened. There we go.
sugars. And okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I found paleo, and my wife said, "Oh, try paleo for 30 days." And I said, "No, I like pizza and I like pasta." And my wife said, "Look, just try it for 30 days. I've just done it, and it's really good." So I gave it a go at the end, and in about 30 days, I lost a few kilos, and
Uh-huh.
I was quite surprised. And I didn't even put any effort into. I was not doing sports or anything like that. It was just paleo, and yeah, and I lost weight. And I said, well, there must be something to this.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps my body doesn't react well to the foods that I've been eating. So I've
Yes.
done some research, I had some tests, and it turns out that I was celiac and I had a gluten intolerance. So I came off the grains and I'd done paleo for about 2.5, 3 years. And whilst I was doing paleo, I kept on hearing about keto
Hmm.
from the guys in America that I was following doing the paleo diet. They started talking about keto a little bit more. So I looked into keto, but I was like a bit, wary about kind of high fat to begin with because I
Yes.
was
Yeah.
always told, as we all were, that high fat gets you fat. So I've done some more research into it, and I started like studying the more scientific side of things and looking into it a little bit more. And I've done a couple of online courses that you can do, not big ones or anything like that, just to educate myself. And then I decided about 3 years ago now, I think 3 or 4 years ago, to take the plunge, and I started keto
Hmm.
and started it. And I was always a big meat eater anyway, so I enjoyed my meat, and so I made sure that I was getting enough protein and the right fats, and it just kind of my weight just all pretty much dropped off, like about 25, about 25 kilos altogether. I lost
That's
on
amazing.
keto just because I lost 10 kilos on paleo, and then the other
Yeah.
25 literally just dropped off in about 18 months.
You see,
And I
that's
still got that.
sorry. I'm just
Well,
going to sort of the one of the amazing things about the ketogenic diet is that a side effect of it is the weight loss. Now, okay, you could say that if you're training at the same time, and this is like the same thing with fitness, if you're training and building up muscle, the weight loss might not be so evident, but the way your body shape changes will, because if you're burning fat for fuel, then those inches will go to reveal something leaner, which
yeah,
is the benefit of one of the benefits of the keto diet. So sorry, carry on.
no, that's fine. So I wasn't doing any training at the time as well. It was just the way I changed my eating because I was still a bit nervous and dubious about going to the gym. And then I heard about CrossFit. And when I started CrossFit,
Oh
then
yeah.
things really started to change. So I started to get into powerlifting and, more CrossFit activities. And then I dropped even more weight. And in total, I've lost um, 43 kilos of body fat, but
Yeah.
then I
Wow.
gained a lot of muscle mass.
Yes.
So my
Okay.
legs, where my jeans used to be baggy on my legs, they're now tight and there's just solid muscle there. It's like you
Ooh.
can see definition in my arms, you
Yeah.
can see definition in my shoulders, my pectorals are starting to come out again, and my whole body shape changed. So that was kind of the start of keto. But as I was going along the journey, I was constantly educating myself. I
Yes.
wanted to, at the time, my wife had a job, so she was she's an engineer. So I basically took the time for myself to educate myself on this topic. I didn't have to work, so I was lucky that I didn't have a job, and we were financially stable. So I just done some more courses to do with diabetes and anything that was related to keto in the slightest.
Yes.
I gained diplomas and qualifications in this and read as much as I could, bought as many books as I could, and just took in as much information as I possibly could, but filtered out all of the kind of junk that was around it.
Yes.
That
There's a
it's
lot.
a wrong say to say that it's a fad diet and it's high fat. I've done a lot of self experimentation. I experimented with a couple of friends as well before I started coaching and put them through their paces, both physically and emotionally as well, and developed a kind of style of keto that's really different to what you get in America. So, and
Okay.
definitely
Yeah.
what you get with most people in the UK, it's a different outlook altogether.
I think you're right. I think that we've got there's a lot of stuff about keto out there. There's a lot of stuff that we can research. You put into Google and you come up with a load of stuff. And I think predominantly keto would be a weight loss diet, and you just eat shed loads of fat and more protein and no
Yeah,
carbs or very low
yeah.
carbs. Break it down for us. So tell us a little bit more about what is the keto way, so you can sort of debunk any myths about it just being eating cream and cheese and that's it. So what exactly is it, including the macros, please, if you wouldn't mind? That's the sciencey
Yeah,
bit.
no worries. So I classify the ketogenic diet or lifestyle as the ultimate inflammation reduction diet. So
Uh-huh.
it reduces all of the toxins that it reduces all of the toxins.
That we consume. So it's not actually, the toxins aren't just from the food that we eat. Toxins we get can be from the drinks that we consume as well. Right, Kev's frozen up a little bit there. Kev is currently, he's in Germany. I believe Germany, oh God, is it Austria? I think it's Germany. So that might be why there's a little bit of a problem. The wires aren't very long. Right, Kev. Oh, Kev's gone. He'll dial back in. All right, he will dial back in. For now, let's go back to me. So just carry on a little bit from where Kev started there. The ketogenic diet, it can address problems that we've got inside of the body. So, for example, there's things like fatty liver, there's irritable bowel syndrome. He's coming back. Let's stick me back on here. Oh, hang on, wrong screen. There we go. Let's stick me back on here. Hello, Eoe. Hello. Oh, I've gone now.
Sorry.
Hey, awesome. I've gone. Oh, I love all of these technical things, but you are all the way in Germany. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
it might be why.
that's,
Oh,
that's it. I'm on the other side now.
yeah, you're on the other side. Hang on a minute. I think I will see if I can swap it. You carry on talking, and I'll just
Okay.
swap us around again in a minute. Or we'll
Sorry,
just do it
sorry
like
about
this,
that. So
actually.
I'll go back to the start point. So, I class it as the ultimate inflammation reduction diet, the
Yeah.
ultimate elimination. So you eliminate all of these toxins in our foods that are making us ill, like the industry seed oils, the sugars, the grains, and the things like that that cause inflammation to our body. It causes excess weight loss and it causes disease. So once we eliminate these things, then we can realize that this is really ideally what keto is about. It's
Yes.
about healing your body. It's not just a quick weight loss fix. It has to be a complete lifestyle change.
Yes.
So you can't just jump on the keto diet and then expect in 3 months to lose all of the weight that you may have potentially gained in the last 10 years.
Yes.
So it's a different approach to any other standard kind of weight loss diet. It has amazing healing properties for the body where we can treat epilepsy with it. You can treat other various different things, diabetes as well.
Yeah.
With the ketogenic diet, there's some other research that's going on at the moment with different aspects of health as well. So
Yes.
it's like heal the body. Once the body's healed, then it will start to look into things like, okay, I'm overweight. I need to reduce my inflammation. I need to reduce the weight. So you might not necessarily get weight loss straight off the bat because your body isn't healed. You need to heal your intestines and all the damage that you've done to your intestines when we have grains and things that happen when we were small, all the way growing up, and all the damage that it's caused and the leaky gut that gets caused and things like that. We have to heal this, before we can then move on. So that's how I kind of class keto itself. It's slightly different to calorie counting, although I still believe that ultimately calories do have an impact, but
Yeah.
it's not the same as total calories. So we have what's called macronutrients, and that is
Yes.
protein, fat, and carbohydrates. They
Yes.
get broken down into how many you can have of those each day, rather than just saying, okay, I'm a male and I'm going to guess around I need 2,000 calories because I'm not very active, or I just walk the dog. So then you break it down into like, okay, to enter a state of ketosis, which is
Yes.
what we're aiming for to be keto, we have to reduce our carbohydrates down to 20 grams a day.
Got you.
Once that's reduced to 20 grams a day, we can look into the other aspects of the macronutrient ratios. So protein is the next one that we calculate. Now, if people say that that protein should be your goal weight. Now, this is kind of very inaccurate because if, for example, my wife is 55 kilos, she decides she wants to lose 2 or 3 kilos, then she reduces her protein to whatever it needs to be, so 52, if she wants to get down to it. Well, this is quite dangerous, actually. and this is something that needs to be debunked with people in the UK. I don't know where this idea stemmed from, because your body needs protein. It needs protein to build muscle. It needs
Yes.
protein, especially when we're on keto, because there's a, without going into too much mind-boggling science, there's a process called gluconeogenesis. And that is basically the process of protein converting into glucose, because our body does need some glucose. It needs
Yes.
our brain runs a little bit on glucose as well. So if we don't get enough protein, then our body's going to take the protein from our muscles. So all of our muscle mass that's in our body, including our heart, can get damaged because it can get turned into glucose.
Got you.
So it's
Yes.
really important. So it's really important that you make sure you have the right amount of protein. And also, if you are doing like heavy weightlifting or muscle building, or you are really physically active where you're going to burn a lot of muscle and fat, then you want to be having the right amount of protein. So that needs to be calculated to things like activity, height,
Of
gender, weight,
course.
things like that. And the rest
Yep.
of it is down to fat. Excuse me. The rest of it is down to fat. How Where many people go wrong here is they then calculate their fat as just the rest of their calories that they've worked out their active daily calories. So it may be perhaps 2,000 or 2,500. So they take the rest of it for fat. That's totally fine if you are managing epilepsy, or or looking into other aspects of why you're doing keto, perhaps not weight loss. If you're doing it for weight loss, then you need to reduce the amount of dietary fat that you intake. So rather than sitting there and eating 100 grams or say 200 grams of fat,
Yep.
with what you've got left over, you need to then reduce that. That then gets technical and scientific, that we need to work out how much exactly of that fat can take from your body fat, and how much do we still need to eat in order for us to still get the benefits of the fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, and all those kind of things.
Yes. Got you. Because
So
am I
that's
right? Sorry, am I
so
right in saying that? So we still eat some. You'll get onto the carbs in a minute, but when it comes to fat, people probably don't understand the whole thing, that our body burns fat for the fuel,
yeah,
not the sugars for the fuel. So it's converting our body, which has predominantly been sugar based, for energy, into the fat for energy. So if we're eating an excess of energy, it's okay. Some of it's going to be converted. Some of it's going to be converted into energy. But if you are still eating that excess, then you will still be storing that excess. So the fat
absolutely.
will
Yeah,
still remain. Okay, sorry,
yeah.
carry on. That's probably more
So
me
that,
for me to
no,
understand.
no, that's a really good and a very valid point as well. So when you are on a high carbohydrate diet and a low fat and lower protein diet, if you are eating high carbohydrates, carbohydrates are just sugar. That's all it is. They're glucose. So yeah, so it's just sugar. Basically, carbs are sugar. All kinds of carbs get converted to
Yeah.
sugar. But what happens is you have a storage area like a car park, say, for glucose that's located in the liver. So your liver stores glucose. But also there are pockets around your body and your muscles that also store glucose. So for the average person that say goes to the gym and wants to lose weight, what they do is they go to the gym, they burn off all of their glucose in their muscles and their liver as energy, and they've got no glucose anymore. They come back and they fill it up with carbohydrates, because that's what we've been told to do. We've been told to eat carbs. So they fill up their liver, they fill up their glycogen storage with glucose, but they continue to eat more glucose and more sugar than what is actually we could store. Once those storage areas are filled, it then gets converted to fat.
Yes.
So that's how we store body fat. So
Yes.
that's how people store body fat. It's not fat getting stored as body fat. It's not too much fat. It's
Yep.
it is too much fat if you are eating a high fat and a high carbohydrate diet. The two
Yes.
together is a total disaster.
Yes.
Now, theoretically, and it is a valid theory, you can still lose weight if you eat a high carbohydrate diet and a low fat diet. But
Yes.
what you have to do is get those ratios spot on and make sure you are well in excess of your calories that you are burning than you're taking in. So that's where people don't quite understand how it works. And the difference between going on a ketogenic diet for weight loss and going on a high carbohydrate diet for weight loss is you're going to be eating 3 or 4 times a day to try and get your energy levels in when you're eating carbohydrates.
Yes.
So you're
Kev. Okay, so what Kev is, I think, saying here is when you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, and you're eating, oh, hang on, you're back. You're back. Good.
sorry,
I
I'm
was.
sorry
It's
about
all
that.
right. No, it's fine. I just managed to almost stop stalling, and then you arrive back again. So carry on.
So you can lose weight when you're on a Weight Watchers diet. It's perfectly fine because you
Yeah.
are going in a calorie deficit. But when you're on a ketogenic diet with your fat deficit, you are healing your body, you are fixing it, you're running off of energy sources that we were ultimately inside our body anyway, which is fat. Because even the average person that's not overweight has a storage tank of 80,000 calories of body fat to keep them going. 80,000
God,
calories
blimey.
is a lot if you break it down.
God, yeah.
So
I think I've got more.
it's like we can go for, that's why we can go fasting for like 7 days because we have that energy storage there. There's a big difference. And I think it's important to realize that yes, you can lose weight with any other diet, but if you are losing weight with a ketogenic diet or ketogenic lifestyle, not only are you losing weight, but you're healing your body as well.
Yes.
And you're getting those benefits of ketones, which are like a drug. It's just amazing. Not
Well, you can when your body realizes. So we'll go into the science of how your body works to get into ketosis and things like that. But you can certainly feel it. Really is a physical feeling of having more energy. It's like you've got that little bit more adrenaline. Your clarity and your awareness does you kind of think, cracky, I'm feeling on top form. It does have a real physical difference. So not only is it a great diet because, one of the symptoms is you lose weight, just like all of these other diets, but you actually have the health benefits of the insides of your body as well. And one thing I will say is that imagine eating, so you've got a packet of crisps. Okay, crisps are they're not my downfall anymore, but I love crisps. I mean, give me a packet of Monster Munch or What's Its, and that's just amazing. But if you're eating, so you're eating the potato carb and you're eating the fat from the oil that it's fried in. To me, these are the epitome of the food that sends your body into absolute, I don't know what I'm doing, because it's got the fat that it wants to eat, it's got the carb that it wants to eat. What does it burn first? And I suppose it burns the easiest thing first, which will be the sugars from the potato. So therefore you are left with the fat not getting processed half as well or half as quickly, which then sits on your body. Sorry, I'm digressing slightly, but I'm trying to understand it all as well. Sorry, carry on, Kev.
No, that's right. So you end up, and it's not just like you because you burn off carbs first. They're the easiest to burn off.
Yes.
So that they get burnt off. But if, like I said, if you've got an excess of carbohydrates, they're not going to get burnt off. They're just going to
They
get
won't.
stored into glucose. Yeah. So glucose is the easy burning thing. So it doesn't. But it's also when you look into the what that take the Monster Munch. When you look into the ingredients and what they are, okay, so or what they have been cooked in. So these kind of oils that they're cooked in, they get heated up to temperatures that are way in excess of anything that is even closely remoted to health. So they get heated up to enormously high temperatures.
Kev's gone again. It's not a bad frozen screen for Kev to be. Oh no, hang on, you're back again.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm gone. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I
So
don't know if it's me or you. It could be either of us. Could just be the
it could
distance
be like
between us.
it's the Brexit. It's because we
Oh,
haven't
is
paid
it?
import tax.
Oh, right. I don't know. Oh, is it really?
So So these oils that they're cooked in, like
Hmm.
when you go down to the chip shop and things like that, they're already heated up to extremely dangerous temperatures,
Yeah.
and they've broken down anything that's good in there, which isn't very much goodness in there anyway. And then they're heated up even more
Hmm.
to cook our foods in, and they just extract toxins. They can cause so many different problems in the body that to take us all day to go through them. They
It
cause
would.
inflammation, and they're just damaging to the body as well. So you're not just getting, it's not just eating that bad thing like that carbohydrate or something like that, because like if you take a potato or a sweet potato,
Yes.
you think, well, it's not bad. I mean, it's not too bad, is it? A
What?
potato, honestly, I love keto, but a potato's not going to kill you. It's the
No.
process that it goes through that's going to
Yes.
damage you, and the
Yes.
excess that you eat as well. So
Yes.
yeah, they're high in carbohydrates. They don't fit on a ketogenic diet, but if you have a roast potato at Christmas, then that's not going to cause that much damage to you than if you sit there and eat the same amount in grams as something that's highly processed,
Hmm.
covered in wheat, gluten, fried in vegetable oils. It's killed any possible nutrients.
Yes, the potato isn't
So
really a potato anymore. No, but I understand. So, I mean, what people don't. So, a lot of people think that it's just basically eating loads of like red meat, fatty meats, and all of the dairy. Now, I don't want to be doing anybody an injustice. I know some people will know nothing about keto, some people know a little bit, and some people will know a lot. And there's probably a lot of people out there that want to give advice and help other people. But it's about doing it the right way. And if we just talk a little bit about the kind of foods, then, Kev, that we might eat, and if you can explain to us the clean keto and the dirty keto, because these two phrases are really bounded around, and I think if there's a
yeah,
bit of clarity between them, that can help people establish how they are to get their own keto meals and recipes together, so they're doing it one way or the other. Because don't forget, this is about cleansing and healing the inside of the body, which therefore
yeah.
refers to clean keto, and dirty keto is almost just the low carb version of it, which means you're not really caring about the insides, you're just a bit more focused on the weight loss. Would that be right?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much spot on. So when I talk about keto, I always go from a clean standpoint, a
Yeah.
strict clean point of view, using whole foods, ingredients that contain or products even that contain like one, three, five ingredients, depending on what they are,
Hmm.
and keep it clean as possible, using meat, vegetables that are low carb, that are they keep approved, so to speak,
Yeah.
nuts, small amount of dairy, and that's pretty much it. A few seeds, a little bit of fat, or some fat. So that's kind of a clean keto direction,
Hmm.
that with these kind of good foods. Then you've got the people that say that, oh, I lost my weight doing dirty keto. Well, that's what their goal was to do
Yes.
weight loss.
Yes.
So they only wanted to lose weight. So they've done their so-called dirty or lazy keto when they haven't looked into what the actual ingredients are. So as long as it fits their macro needs,
Hmm.
then they've done it, they've lost their weight. Now, in my opinion, this is where you start to go wrong, because if you go and keep on this kind of a way, eating these ingredients, you're just going to end up with. So, for example, there's loads of products out there that have got keto written on them. That when you look on
Loads,
the
actually.
they contain wheat, sugar, maltodextrin, dextrose,
Yeah.
gluten. It goes on.
Potato starch, rice flour, and all of those bulkers. I mean,
Absolutely,
you would have thought a sausage is quite a good, keto friendly item to eat. Well, it's not, it's full of fillers.
totally.
And actually, peanut butter that I mentioned to Kev that I love peanut butter, which is very dirty, very lazy keto. And that's because the peanuts, it's like a legume, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not a clean product for our body to ingest. And, well, so many other things. But yeah,
The
so.
problem with peanuts. So the problem with peanuts is the way they're harvested and the way they're
Mhm.
stored. So they create a mold inside them, which is called an aflatoxin, and
Okay.
it's actually poisonous to us. And if we overconsume them, then we can end up poisoning our body with aflatoxin poisoning. So, which is why I say avoid, and it's also full of lectins, which can damage the gut wall interior. Now, if you are healthy, you are not looking for weight loss, and you're on a keto lifestyle or a
Yes.
lifestyle,
Yes.
and you incorporate, if you have a peanut or some peanut butter, you're completely healthy.
Yeah.
Then the chances of you becoming ill from that small amount of that is pretty small.
Yes. It's about, I mean, they talk, the whole diet thing for any of us is all about moderation. So, you look at, salmon being a fantastic fish to eat. You've got steak being a fantastic meat to eat because of all of the vitamins and minerals they actually contain. When it comes to eating too much of these things, well, it's still too much, isn't it?
Yeah. So I
So,
mean, this is why when I say it, especially when I talk with my group, because there's like nearly 16,000 people in there. So I
yeah.
have to be very rigid. I have to be rigid, and I have to say, especially when you write, because it's not video orientated, it's writing. So
Hmm.
when people say, "Can I have peanuts and green beans?" I say no and explain why.
Yes.
But then, if I can get my point across and say, if you are not looking for weight loss, so it's really hard. So I have to adopt these strict rules in the first place.
Hmm.
And then once people are healed, they are fit, they are healthy, then there shouldn't be so much of a problem having a something in that direction because their body
How
will be able to combat
That's true. How would we feel the difference of whether our bodies, one, needed to actually be healed on the inside? Because if we feel pretty fit and healthy, then what do we need to address anyway?
that.
But how would we feel healthier and feel better and feel that our insides are now sort of on a balanced, even keel to be able to just have a chicken in a satay sauce once every few months or something, because of course that doesn't mean it's something we habitually eat. That's just something that we might have at some point. How do we know when our bodies are probably okay to take something like that?
Well, the ultimate test is to go for 60 days without, these kind of ingredients,
Okay.
to eliminate these things out of your diet.
Got you.
Um, so
So I suppose what you're doing is you're cleansing yourself from having eaten these to get rid of all traces of these food items from your body, to then know whether you're feeling that extra clarity, the extra energy, and
yeah,
feeling cleaner.
yeah. So for 60 days, if you eliminate these, and people say do it for 30 days, you don't feel much benefit. Well, you do feel benefit after 30 days, but to get ultimate benefit, go 60 days on a keto
Hmm.
diet or a low carb or a paleo diet and eliminate these things that are really highly inflammatory, like sugars, the oils, the grains,
Got you.
the legumes, things like that. And then you will notice the difference when you introduce those back again. It may be a small amount of difference or it may be a massive difference.
Yeah.
If you if you have a bodily issue in general, so I may be a little bit bold here, but I would say 90% of people's issues when it comes to anything with their body comes down to their diet.
Yes.
In my opinion. So I had a skin rash on the inside of my legs, which when we were in the army, we used to call it chub rub because I was chubby and my legs used to rub together. I
Yep.
was
Yep.
so I thought it was because I was overweight and I used to have a rash and it was itchy. And I used to itch it so badly at night that it would bleed, and then the sweat would make it so sore because I was
Oh
overweight.
yes. Yeah.
You know, so it was like I was creating open wounds. After I eliminated grains for 30 days, I started to see an improvement.
Okay.
And how can a skin issue be at the time? How can a skin issue be, in the same ballpark as something that I eat? It doesn't make any sense. Well, that's when I had to look into the gut, the gut
Mhm.
connection, IBS, all those kind of things, which is when I've done my diplomas in those. Because the gut, the brain, it's all connected to the skin, and you,
Yeah, so everything, so what we consume in our body can, I mean, we can live eating the diets that we've eaten for years and years and years, not knowing that what we've got and symptoms of this and that are because of our diet. I mean, to go back to you in just a second, when we think about, our mental health, well, actually, foods that we eat can have can make a difference with our mental health as well, because actually there is
Massively.
something called food therapy, which looks at our diet. You know, you can have these foods in our diet that can make us more irritable. You know, alcohol can make us all a bit woozy, but you know, when it comes down to kids epilepsy and kids blue
Yeah,
smarties, you know, they were eliminated, weren't they, blue smarties, because of the E numbers. You give a kid
yeah.
sugar and it can bounce off of the walls. So when it comes to what you're talking about, elaborate more. It's about what we can notice. We can only notice the changes when we stop something, because our
Yeah.
lifestyle has had these things in them for so long. So we can only notice when we've stopped. So you did this and it
Yeah.
worked. It worked for you.
Yeah, so that's the problem. I mean, there's so many things that you just need to take the foods, and like you said, with the epilepsy and things like that. Now, there is lots of research at the moment about ADHD being related to gluten, and
Okay.
people say no, it's rubbish, and I'm not saying that it is solid, and I'm not saying that it's rubbish. I'm researching it at the moment, and I tested. My son got told he had ADHD. I got told when I was a child I had ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
and we eliminated gluten out of my son's diet, and he completely changed his personality. When I have gluten, I am the biggest one of those in the world, and I get angry. I'm stressed, super stressed like that,
Yes.
and I can
Yep.
feel it. And there's even a point where I thought I had bipolar disorder, where
Okay.
my mood would literally instantly switch like that into being angry, and
Yep.
and I mean like really enraged. So thank God that nothing ever happened when I was in those kind of, people say that they see white or see red or whatever it is, and then they get really angry. There are small studies that have started to be undergoing at the moment that are to do with ADHD and bipolar disorder, because people think anxiety and things like that it can be linked to a gluten intolerance,
I, you
which
know,
is
I would totally agree. So a very very small snippet of my history from I think about the age of 37 to about 43. I had issues,
yeah,
all sorts of issues, and I think one thing that I did was blame others for my issues.
yeah,
Um, and actually, if I think about it now, and one of the issues I had was I would be quite chopsy. I would argue quite a lot. I would always be very defensive quite a lot.
yeah,
And I wouldn't see other people's point of view as a possibility to think, okay, I wouldn't consider it very much. It was all me, and it was all, actually, no, hang on a minute, you're the problem. So I've been eating the keto way for a year and a half. And I can
yeah.
honestly say that I don't argue as much. I don't feel the need to raise issues as much. I absolutely am far calmer than I've ever been, just because. And the only thing I can really think, and I haven't been totally strict about this either, so don't get me wrong. You know, the bit of garlic bread that looks fantastic, I might just have a little sneaky bite, but that's not, you know, that doesn't turn into something habitual. But I don't eat bread, I don't eat potatoes, I don't eat rice, and I don't eat pasta. They are the biggest carb group that people will realise are carbs. And I swear there is something in that with me and my moods. So absolutely, it really is something to really consider when it comes to the foods we eat, and actually the ADHDs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe so.
So tell us then. So when it comes to people's ideas of keto, what would you say they need to? I mean, anybody can do keto, is that right? And there's people that have been doing
Yeah,
keto for years. I mean, you know
yeah.
somebody who's been doing it for over 20 years or so. So how would they start going about researching? Well, I don't even want to say if it's right for them, because it can't be wrong for them by the
Yeah.
sounds of things. I suppose it's how we're preconditioned and our diets at the moment as to whether they feel that they will be really restricting their diet or whether their mindset is healing their bodies. But how would people start going to think about whether it's right for them?
So I think it's important to do some research, not just from one person's point of view, but to really search the internet and look into people that have been doing it for a longer period of time. There's an amazing guy in America called Louis Villaseñor that runs an amazing group called Keto Gains. It's mainly for bodybuilding people that are into keto. but or keto people into bodybuilding. But it's not just for that as well. He has some amazing scientific information, and he was the guy that kind of got this started for me as well because I heard about him and I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. So I researched him. Our views are slightly different as I've gone into my direction. I've created my own path. But I think if you want to, you have to really look into why you're interested in the first place. What do you
Yes,
think the
why?
issue is?
Yeah, your
If it's weight
motivation
loss,
behind it. Yeah. So yeah, the motivations behind doing keto kind of almost makes us fit into the category of, will we be lazy keto people or will we be clean keto eaters? Consumers, actually, don't forget, it's not just what we eat, it's what we eat and drink as well. So looking at why you would want to do it. Sorry, you carry on, Kev.
yeah, fine. So if it's just weight loss that your intention is, and you intend on going back to your previous way of eating, then you're going to find it difficult. You're going to find it
Yes.
hard because you're always going to have the mindset about you still want to go and eat those foods because you just want to lose weight. That's what you're interested in. So I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to belittle anybody like that or make them feel bad, but I think before you do it just for weight loss, look into why you're going to go back to eating the foods that have caused you to get that way in the first place. Because if you've eaten a junk food diet all your life and then you turn around and say, well, I'm going to lose the weight on keto and then I'm going to go back to eating bread and pasta and pizza and stuff,
Yeah.
then what was the point in that in the first place? You're not going to do any benefit to your body. You're just going to waste time, and you'll end up putting on more weight than when you started because you're not going to be able to have the self control. Your metabolism's going to be completely
You
screwed
see,
up.
that's what happens, isn't it? I mean, these diets,
Yeah,
which is the number two definition of the diet that I mentioned earlier when I
yeah,
went through the dictionary meaning of it. This is very much a case of, if people go on that diet for a few weeks at a time and then introduce again the foods that were why they were dieting in the first place, you're going to be constantly toing and froing from being, on a diet. Why don't you just
yeah,
make the mental shift and just change the lifestyle, knowing that if you do slip up, and I say slip up and give yourself a potato, or you give yourself a blooming peanut, or you do something, have a glass of wine, alcohol. I probably need to steer away from the alcohol subject, but when you give yourself a little bit of something that you think is a treat, just don't reintroduce it, I suppose. And it's not a
yeah.
treat, though, is it? It's not a treat, it's a naughty. But
Not a treat. Yeah,
it's not a treat. Yeah, no, it's not a treat. But those kind of things, we are humans, and just because we might want
absolutely.
to adopt a lifestyle that's a little bit different, it is all a little bit new. It is all a bit sort of,
Yeah.
trial and error, and not to beat yourself up about it.
So,
I mean, it's really important actually to just make sure that you're not mentally shifting into that state of panic and anxiety because you
yeah.
had a roast potato. Even you said you had a roast potato when it came to Christmas dinner. Was it one
Well,
year?
no, I don't have
Or
potatoes
was it
because I've only
parsnip?
planted parsnips are
Parsnip,
my. They
yes.
But no, I mean, I think I've been, like I said, I've been about sugar free for about 7 years now. But that
Yep.
doesn't mean I've been completely sugar free the whole time.
No.
So there have been some occasions, even in those last 7 years, well, now nearly 8 years, that when we've gone into town and it's been an amazingly hot day, there's an ice cream parlor in town,
Yep.
and it makes all of the ice cream in the house. Now, in my opinion, it's having one ice cream in the summer that has, for me, definitely no gluten because of my allergies. But for
Yes.
anybody else, I would still recommend avoiding the gluten anyway because even little bits can do damage.
Yeah.
But you to have that one sugared ice cream in the middle of a blistering hot summer for once a year is absolutely fine. I mean, if you do it twice or three times a year, that's still fine, as long as you're not doing it every single weekend or every single month.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a treat because you. Why would you treat yourself to something that
I
damages your
know.
body?
Yeah. But if your kids are out there having an ice cream, you want to, oh, let's share a bit of a flavour, and that's just being a dad. That's just being
Yeah,
with your kids, having something on a nice hot day. It doesn't mean you're going to
yeah,
fall back into the habits of it. Absolutely not,
absolutely.
because you
Yeah,
know why
so
you're doing it in the first place. In fact, you mentioned, the sugars and things like that. So you've got fructose as a sugar, you've got glucose as a sugar, you've got other oses that are sugars. We
yeah,
don't cut these things out totally. I mean, you can eat strawberries, you can eat blueberries,
yeah,
raspberries. The berry side of fruits are very good because they do have that helpful carbohydrate and the vitamins and minerals that your bodies need from this. But you just don't shovel them in. You just don't have a
yeah,
bowl of strawberries. You just moderate it a little bit.
yeah.
I
So
think
there's
it's
like
important that you don't
64.
cut everything out. And vegetables as well, actually. Root veggies tend to have more sugars in than
They
over
do,
the
yeah,
ground veg. So
yeah,
even though you might be starting out on this diet and you might start out with a very small select group of foods that you think, okay, I can cope with this. As you do it, you will introduce more foods into your diet
yeah,
because you will learn about what's okay, what's not great, and you will then have a broader range of foods that you eat. So you don't literally narrow it down to nothing. But if you do, then you just start to branch out a little bit. In fact, let's go to this scene. I showed this to people in the trailer. And you'll see here the picture. You've got the avocados, you've got strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, tomatoes, you've got asparagus. All of these items
yeah,
are absolutely healthy for any diet. So if you were to just stick to eating all of these items every day, you wouldn't be going far wrong. And nobody could say any of those are going to be causing any problems for the keto diet. They are all something that are perfectly acceptable. Is that right? So it kind of, if there was a long list of what you can eat and what you can't eat, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? I think your groups help with this on Facebook. Is that right?
yeah,
Yeah. So what you can do is, if you research this diet for you, oh, hang on, wrong one. I want Kev back again. If you research, if you research this diet, you might have a small ingredient list, but as you go on and learn a bit more, you'll broaden that, and then you'll pretty much be eating most things that are all good.
you do. Yeah, I mean, what I find as well, people that start off, they find it hard. And at the beginning, when I was telling people how to start, I then had to adapt my teaching because, again, because I was very down the line and very strict, I realized that it wouldn't work for some people, especially people that are on a budget. So the number one
Yeah.
important thing in keto is you need to make sure that you get the right amount of animal protein. So that's
Yes.
really important. So eggs are really important. They have a complete amino acid profile. Meat, chicken, beef, pork, all of those kind of meats you can have, fish as well. There's a massive array of in the animal kingdom that we can eat, and that's really important to make sure you get the right amounts of vitamins and minerals from meat as well, because the vitamins and minerals that we can use from animal products are more bioavailable than they are from plants. Now, plants are still good. There's no disputing that. But the more and more I've researched into carnivore, the more I've realised that we need the proteins or the vitamins from animals because our body uses them better. Plus, when they're wrapped up with all the fibre, they have a tendency to disappear out of our bodies.
Yes, okay. Yes. So you've got things like, so let's say you've got a piece of steak or you've got a few pieces of salami. I'm thinking salami is a processed meat. It will have things in
It
it
is.
that isn't
Yep.
great. So anything that is sort of less processed from digging it up, farming it, and all of those sorts of things is, well, it's better for us anyway, isn't it? But this is the kind of diet
Yeah.
where eat a steak, not like lots and lots of, not a packet of salami. We've got to be, you've got to have some common sense about it as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I also adopt the nose to tail approach. So I like to
Okay.
use as much of the animal as possible. And because not only from a nutritional standpoint is it you get a full range of the vitamins and minerals in the body from the animal, but it's also, I find it also, you're respecting that animal by eating every single bit of it.
Yeah,
If
I
you look
agree.
at it from that type of point of view, that animal has given its life. or we've taken its life, however you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So we should respect it by eating as much as possible, and also all the way down to boiling the bones for stock.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Really good.
as crazy as it sounds, you can even use the bones even further. If you don't want to eat the bones, because you can eat powdered bones, and you can eat powdered eggshells if you want to, but they are amazing fertilizer for your garden. And if you don't have a garden
Yes.
that
Okay.
tends
Yeah.
to have, if you don't have a garden, then I'm sure you know someone that's got a garden that would welcome powdered bones that you've put in the instant pot, and they're like they are amazing, and that's where natural fertilizers come from. So it's a whole circle of life that
Mm-hmm.
we incorporate, or at least I teach. And it also comes down to seasonal eating as well. So
Yes.
yeah, berries are amazing. I love berries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've frozen. I think you might have frozen now. But yes, so you've
Yeah,
got.
I'm,
Oh,
I'm
here we
right.
go. Yeah, hey.
So I totally love berries. I love strawberries, but I really have to also look on an environmental standpoint as well, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not an eco warrior, but I want to look after the place, because our kids and
Yes.
grandkids, all that kind of stuff that you would never expect someone like me to
Yeah.
say. I still, believe in that kind of stuff. So I try and cut down on air traffic and eat as local,
Mm-hmm.
or sea traffic, and eat as local as possible. I do love avocados. I do love coconuts. I do like MCT oil, but I limit the amount that I have, because I believe that you should look after the planet. Not only that as well, but when people keto diet, whatever, and they say, I'm bored with the foods. If you eat seasonal, it's constantly changing. You're
It will.
constantly
Yeah.
having something new in your diet. And it starts for me always with asparagus. So
Mm-hmm.
asparagus is the first thing that I have, because I always go carnivore from the end of December all the way around to asparagus season. And then
Yep.
it starts with something new, and then the wild garlic comes through, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can eat the garlic flowers, and then all these little things, and it's time for radishes, then it's time for lettuce, and then you've already started putting your plug plants into your courgettes, and and then you pot your pumpkins, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always constantly changing. Then daisies and dandelions and edible flowers you can eat as well,
That's
and the
true. Actually,
violets.
yeah.
So
In fact, there's
it's like,
a larger ingredient list if you think about it, because you can bring so
yeah,
much more into your diet.
it is huge. I was always even before keto, I was always into foraging and hunting and things like
Yes.
that.
You see, it's amazing. I mean, Kev, we're not going to take up too much more of your time. What I wanted today to do is to help people understand that keto is a way of life. It's the habitual eating, so it's definition number one. And it's about researching it. It's about
Yeah.
using Kev here with all of his research to tell us all about it, because it's a possible thing for us all to do. And it's about healing the body first and foremost. Diet, yes, if it's just diet you want to do, fine. But I think you'll find as you go along that actually it's a great way to feel better, mental clarity, defogging process. Skin conditions can go, your hair and your nails can start to really feel so much better hair growth, your skin can glow more as well. Well, okay, yes, but I'm thinking you
Mine,
you
mine,
do.
mine was gone before. Mine.
Ah,
Don't
okay.
look at me. Anyway, I
Phew.
had, I had very many years of alcohol abuse when I was younger, and my hair started to fall out even before then.
that
And in fact,
that lot didn't though, did it?
no. Oh, and I
Have you
had
got
a
any
very
grey in
bad.
there, by the way? Have you got any grey in there?
No,
Because it doesn't
no,
look like it. Oh, right, okay.
no.
The odd
Okay.
one.
Well, see, grey hair on men is a lack of protein.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Actually,
So
well, my
that's
husband,
important.
he's not very grey. He's 50 this year, and he's really, he's got really dark hair still. He's got more white in his beard than he has on his head hair, but
Yeah.
he's still really dark. Oh, I feed him very well then.
Good.
Well, Kev, thanks so much for today. I'll give you a call in a
Very
minute
welcome.
and just we'll have a little mini debrief. But thank you. What I would like to do is I'll talk a little bit more about you and how people can reach you, if that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
To let people know that you are accessible and that everyone in your groups are. So we'll sign off for now. Thank you so much. And I'll chat to you in a minute. All right? Thanks, Kev. Okay, so you see, today's show was about, it was like an introduction to ketosis, or to keto, the ketogenic diet, I suppose. There is not enough time to be able to speak about the whole thing in depth, the science behind it, the theories behind it, the talking about it. I mean, I've written notes down here. It started around in the 1920s, and it was something that was brought into a child's diet to help with epilepsy. So there has been so many years where this kind of diet has been researched and the science behind it to be a very, very valid thing. Why it's just now more prevalent than ever, I don't know. And it's more prevalent in America, but also it's coming over to the UK a lot more, certainly to Europe as well. So to research it, Kevin's done absolutely loads of that. He's got a Facebook group, which is Keto, I don't want to get it wrong, Keto for Health with KetoKev. He's got just under 16,000 people on that community group, and it is a great way for you to talk to people of all stages of their keto journey, whether it's just starting out or whether they've been doing it for years. It's fabulous. There's loads of recipes, loads of ideas, loads of just pointers, hints and tips, and actually you can be there for people as well. You can find your keto buddy and that kind of thing, so you can just talk to people about it all. Also, what you can do is go on to Kev's Instagram, all right, and have a look at some of the things that he prepares. His Instagram is KetoKev, the Primal Bear, all right, and he's written an ebook and he's written magazine articles. He actually has a coaching group as well on Facebook, so he is very accessible. And if you want to get in touch with me, and I can get you in touch with him as well, my email is kate@pinksaltshed.com. But see how you feel. I hope this has been a really good taster for you to just dip into it a little bit, or to debunk or demystify any of the bits and bobs that have confused you and that you're kind of thinking, well, I don't know if it's right for me because of this, that and the other. You've probably heard, if you've been thinking about it, you've probably heard quite a lot about it and just want to make sure that it's the right thing for you. But join the groups, see how you feel. I think it's awesome. I've been eating the keto way, I would say now, for about 18 months, and I have to say I've got better clarity of thought. I have more retention in my memory. I do like to write a list, but I have got more memory retention. I think I can cope with more. I've got less anxieties. I'm certainly less argumentative. It makes it sound as though every day was an argument. It wasn't. But I'm not so defensive when I talk to, my husband about things or what have you. I'm just Katie calm. So it's really helped me. Now, whether I've gone down the weight loss route or not, yes, I've lost weight, but actually I've changed shape. So I don't necessarily count the calories so much. I do believe I'm doing it the right way. Maybe a little bit, too many glasses of wine. You can drink alcohol. Kev would say drink no alcohol, but Kev doesn't drink any anyway. But there are types that you can drink that are far better than others. Nothing is great. The odd glass of red wine, yeah, why not? But hey, do a little bit of research yourself. Join the groups. I think that's really important. And you will find out more. And I think it will set you on the journey to, maybe having a little go. See how you feel about it. All right, but that's all we've got time for me today. Please do subscribe to the channel. It's Pink Salt Shed TV. Email me, kate@pinksaltshed.com. And we look forward to Friday's show. On Friday, we're talking to Chris and Kate. They are setting up an estate agency in the Cotswold area. They have got many, many years of experience. They are setting things up in a little bit of a different way. They've had to go with the times, had to go with the flow on all of the changes that we see around us at the moment. And I think we've got a little bit of a great show coming up to talk about how to go forward in the estate agency world to sell that house the right way. So we'll see you soon. All right, there'll be a midweek trailer for the show on Friday. But until then, happiness and health and all of that jazz. And have a little look into the keto diet. I think it's one that we should all explore. So see you soon. Thanks.